Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Coach Matt over here, Primal Athlete Training Center, www.primalatc.com. We are coming to you today to answer a question on the Olympic lifts or the Olympic lifting variations that are done in a lot of high school weight rooms. Actually, my man, Zach Evanesh, leader of my business mastermind group, Underground Strength Coach, one of the most well-known sort of underground strength coaches with regards to high school athletes, already answered a question similar to this today. So I'm not jumping on the Zach Evanesh bandwagon here and trying to answer better than him, but this question is something that I get a lot. And this is something that somebody emailed me about on Saturday, and then I got another email from a different person about it today. And it has to deal with using the Olympic lifts and Olympic lifting variations to kind of gauge the strength level and sort of as the be-all, end-all for athletes who are throwers. Now, let me start by saying, first of all, that I don't hate the Olympic lifts. A lot of people, the question they ask is, why aren't the traditional, the power clean, the clean and jerk, and all the other kind of, offshoots of that, the high pull, the hang clean, the hang snatch, the behind the neck jerk, all those Olympic style, Olympic lifting type movements, why aren't they included in the in-season and off-season training guides that I sell? And the question I always kind of ask them back is, well, how do you know that an athlete is ready? The other day we did a video on switching the feet, and I don't teach in these videos how to switch the feet because these videos are meant for beginners. They are free videos for beginner coaches and beginner throwers that I put up here on YouTube. And, when you look back at it, a lot of beginners shouldn't be switching their feet until they learn how to properly extend their body, till they have experience in the circle and experience with the throwing event. They shouldn't switch their feet. And it's the same idea with me and Olympic lifting. Too many times I see and hear of in the high school weight room that a high school freshman who has very little business even holding a weight in his hand is being asked to power clean or being asked to hang clean. And a lot of sports and, football, I have to admit, is probably the worst. But track and field, because of the carryover from football to track and field as far as athletes and coaches go, is so great that track and field is a very, very close second, where coaches will use the power clean or the hang clean or some type of an Olympic lifting movement as a way to gauge the progress in the weight room and an athlete's strength. Well, what's the problem with this? First of all, it has to deal with experience. In order to do a skilled movement like a power clean, like a hang clean, or an Olympic lifting type movement, you need to have experience with weight. You need to make sure that you are flexible enough in your hamstrings, in your hips, that you are flexible enough in your lower back, that you are strong enough to pull the weight off the ground in a deadlift. So if you have somebody that cannot deadlift 135 pounds properly off the ground, and when they do it, they're all hunched over, their shoulders are forward, their back is extremely rounded, and it just looks like a horrible, horrible pull. The legs straighten out, they're pulling with all lower back. If they can't deadlift 135 pounds with perfect form, how do you expect them to power clean 135 pounds with perfect form? My rule of thumb generally is that you should be able to deadlift 1.5 times what you can clean with perfect form and perfect technique. So for younger athletes, of course, if you have somebody who is trying to clean and press 135 pounds, they better be able to take 205 pounds and show me a perfect deadlift off the floor. Perfect deadlift, pushing through the heels, keeping the shoulders back, keeping the chest up, keeping a neutral head, standing up all the way to lock out, perfect deadlift before they can clean 135 pounds off the ground. So experience is one of the reasons. You cannot take an athlete that does not have experience in the weight room and kind of get them to do a proper power clean. When this guy can barely do a body weight squat correctly, this guy can barely deadlift 135 pounds correctly, and you want him to clean and press 135 pounds correctly. It's not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen, and it's almost a irresponsible thing for coaches to think that that's going to happen when you're freshmen. You need more experience, you need more flexibility, you need to get your joints more mobile, and this is stuff that beginner athletes should not be doing until they've got some experience, until they've got a good base of strength, and until their body is physically prepared and ready to do these Olympic lifting variations. All right. The other thing that we want to look at is, well, if I don't have my athletes do Olympic lifts until they're older, if I don't recommend doing Olympic lifts, well, how else are they going to get explosive? How else are they going to get, that nice explosive movement that they get or that is trained from these variations of Olympic lifts? Well, it's real easy. During your warm-ups, you're moving that bar as fast as possible. Your working sets, your first couple of warm-ups where you're working with 50, 60% of your max on squat, bench, and deadlift, well, you're moving that bar as fast as you possibly can with good form, of course. You're always moving that bar as fast as possible. I always tell my kids in here, move the bar like it's empty. I want you to move a 300-pound bench press the same speed that you move an empty bar. Put force into the bar. Put force into the ground. The other things that you can do, use dumbbells. A dumbbell clean and press, a dumbbell snatch is a heck of a lot easier to teach, and it's not going to waste your time, and it's going to be a lot safer and a lot better for younger athletes if you use the dumbbell instead of the bar. I say it all the time. When you've got 20, 30 kids in a weight room and you only have 4 or 5 bars, hey, dumbbells come in pairs. If somebody wants to clean and press a 45-pound dumbbell, guess what? There's another 45-pound dumbbell on the rack that another guy can pick up, and another guy can clean and press that, and there you go. You saved yourself some time. You basically cut the time in half because you're using a dumbbell instead of a bar. The other things you guys can do, jumps. How many times are we jumping? Plyometrics. Just basic stuff. Jumping squats, jumping lunges, real basic explosive movement, explosive push-ups. Okay, you guys can do things like push press. Great explosive movement that's easy to teach is a push press. What about medicine balls outside? You guys, when you're throwing outside, should always be doing medicine balls as well. Explosive medicine ball releases. Okay, throwing the actual implement. For beginner athletes, throwing the actual implement is going to be explosive enough. 12-pound shot put. You probably have them using a 5-kilo medicine ball, which is 11 pounds. Use the 12-pound shot put. You can do releases with that. And just, hey, going through and practicing is going to get them a lot more explosive as well when they're first starting out. So, guys, this is just some stuff that you guys can take with you. Olympic lifting is not bad. Olympic lifting's good. I like Olympic lifting. I actually enjoy the Olympic lifts. I think they're a great way to produce power into the ground and get more explosive. Now, if you have a younger athlete, I would not recommend it until they are physically ready. So while I like the Olympic lifts, I don't like the Olympic lifts for unskilled, untrained, younger athletes that aren't ready. There's a lot of other things that you can be doing that are going to give the same benefit, provide or better benefit for the younger athlete, and that are going to get them more explosive and get them more powerful and driving more force into the ground than the Olympic lifts, okay? So hopefully this clears things up. Again, I'm getting a lot of these questions from people being like, why do you hate switching the feet? Why do you hate the Olympic lifts? I don't hate switching my feet. I teach my kids to do that. I don't hate the Olympic lifts. I teach my kids to do that. Really, guys, what it comes down to is the athlete experienced enough to do it? Is the athlete ready? And most of the time, if you're a freshman, sophomore in high school with very little experience under the bar, with bad flexibility, who can't even do a couple of good push-ups, a couple of good pull-ups, or some really good body weight squats, you have no purpose with that bar in your hand trying to pull 135 pounds off the ground. Usually it's ugly, it takes way too much time to teach, it's a skill, and it's something that takes time. And a lot of times with coaches, we don't have that time. It's too valuable. We can't be wasting time on things like teaching people how to clean when you can teach them how to do a dumbbell clean and press or a dumbbell snatch in just 5 or 10 minutes. All right, so hopefully this clears some things up. I know this might ruffle a few feathers and whatnot, but hey, we've seen some fantastic results. You guys have heard me talk about my athletes. You've seen the results. We've got some of the top throwers in New England that train here. We've got some of the top throwers in the state that train here, the top sprinters in the state that train here, mid-distance guys that train here. We don't do Olympic lifting a whole heck of a lot. We stick with explosive movement through other means, and it works great. Gets them super, super strong and producing a ton of force and a ton of power into the ground, which is what it's all about. So guys, thanks so much for these questions. Like I said in my newsletter today, these free videos will always be happening. So make sure to send those questions in. And if you're interested in the type of weight training program that we do, both in season and off season, I'll put some links down below for you to check out. Just click on them. You go right to the Primal site and read a little bit more about the type of workouts we do here in the gym. All right, hope to hear from you soon.